for men, we have so many different ways of scoring, like I said before. So, I mean, my buddy Dan Bilzerian, he just came out with Sigma Society, and he has 12 different attraction triggers he names in there. I believe it's probably more around 20 or 30, maybe even 50 different attraction triggers you have, because it can be different types of social net, every type of skill set you have. Like, for instance, I have a friend of mine, he is a plastic surgeon. All he does is eyelids. He just fixes people's eyelids. That's all he does. He specializes in one thing. Incredibly attractive to women because he has a bunch of money, and he's a doctor. And for some women, he actually can fix their eyelids. And so because of that, that is a type of game I'm not familiar with, and I can't do that type of game. I would call that competency game. He also, because he's very competent at what he does, he goes and speaks at different conferences or whatever. A guy who's a cardiologist, that's a different type of game. But I also know a guy, he worked on stage at a nightclub, and he was the one who passed out the artist wristbands. That's all he did. He put out the artist, it says, so it's a Diplo on it. And he did that and slept with so many models in Las Vegas. It was crazy because he was the one giving access to the scarce resource, which was to go on stage at the nightclub. So that's a different type of game. So I want you to consider the plastic surgeon. He has one type of game. Then the guy who gives out the wristbands has a different type of game. The club promoter has a different type of game. We've all seen the guy at the gym who takes steroids and has the fucking tattoo sleeves, and he's ripped. He's got a different type of game. The really funny short guy who's just like, who grew up weird, but he's funny and he makes women laugh. He's got a different type of game. The guy who has the mansion up in the hills, he's got a different kind of game. And the guy who, like, several of my clients are like this, the ones who set up these huge events. They ask someone, hey, can we use your mansion? The person says yes, and they set up these huge events and invite tons of girls over and have this crazy party, and they're the life of the party. That's a different type of game. Being able to connect people to each other, that's a different type of game. And the easiest one for men to start, who are at zero to start from, is the pre-selection game, which means you're introducing beautiful women to other beautiful women, and they're confused, like how you know all these beautiful women. And that confusion, and that interest, and that curiosity creates an evolutionary pang that is attraction. It is an attraction trigger towards you as a man because you're able to get these women to connect with each other, or they're actually sitting there like wondering, how the fuck does this guy know all these girls? Like, what is he doing? Is he sleeping with them? Like, who's he sleeping with? It's one of the craziest things where, if you've ever experienced this, a girl breaks up with you and you show up at a party 2 weeks later with a girl who's hotter than her, her brain cracks. She can't. She's like, no, like, you were a stock that she shorted. She sold you. Your stock she sold. And then she sees you go to the moon, like Bitcoin. She's like, wait, no, this can't be right. And she gets so angry. You've never seen a woman this angry. Most guys have never experienced this. A woman breaks up with you and you show up at a party where she's at with a girl who's hotter than her. Her brain cracks. She can't deal with it psychologically, because what hypergamy is whenever women reject you, they're basically saying, or their genetics are saying, your genes are not worthy to be passed on into the future. And you proved her wrong. You want to talk about a woman being scorned?